What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the aggressive Italian, my opening repertoire simplified, part 2, the fried liver. Of course, the fried liver starts after e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, the Italian game. And before we go on, remember that part 1 we looked at bishop c5, and that allows us to go for c3 and d4, the big pawn center, and we went for something called the molar gambit. I got 15 lines on that, got a full chess.com guide with that video. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check it out. Now, today, we're going to be looking at when they play knight f6, which immediately targets the e4 pawn, not allowing us to go c3. Now, the most aggressive way to defend this pawn is with knight g5, and that is the fried liver. We're going to be looking at 12 of Black's most dangerous and most common lines to show you exactly how to respond to it. I'm going to be showing you how to beat the Traxler Gambit, how to win their queen on move 9 in the Ponziani-Steinitz Gambit. Have you ever heard of that? Well, it's actually really dangerous. It's just not as popular because of its crazy name. I'm going to show you how to respond to the most common lines and how to get an edge no matter what Black plays. If you would like to go through this a little bit slower and at your own pace, if you would like to review each of the lines, if you'd like to see them all piled in one opening tree, I've got all of that in my chess.com blog, which I will also link below. All right, let's get into the first line, and this one is just absolutely beautiful. One of the most stunning queen trap lines I've ever seen out of the opening. So, knight takes e4. Now, this looks like completely impossible move to play, but if we go knight takes e4, then of course they just go d5, and yeah, that's not so great for us. The main reason is not because of knight takes e4, but because also knight takes f7 loses, because Black will go queen h4, and after we play something like g3, and by the way, castling would not work at all because they can go knight takes f2 and bishop to c5, and we're in huge trouble. G3, bishop takes f2, queen takes h2, we're just losing, right? So if we go back and we play g3, then they will actually take on g3. And after we take back, they have got queen e4. And this, of course, not only hits our king, but our rook in the corner. So we play king f2, making sure the queen can defend the rook, but then bishop c5 check comes in, and we're totally lost. So we can't play knight takes f7, but we do have a resource. So let's go back and remember, after knight g5, we play, or Black plays knight takes e4, the Steinitz Ponziani Gambit. Then we play bishop takes f7. Now Black has to move the king, and then we play a really great move, d4. And this is the key to the opening. The whole point is that Black can never take our knight, because then we just go bishop c5 and we win the, or bishop g5 and we win the queen. So our knight's impossible to capture, and it's defending our bishop. So our bishop is safe. Now, when we play d4, they'll probably take us, and maybe just knight takes d4, but we'll play c3. And actually, even though we lost a pawn, we've opened up our bishop, and now we've opened up our queen. This is the way to be aggressive. Don't be afraid to give up material. So here, White will go bishop back to b3, and now, of course, we're threatening not only knight to f7, which would fork the rook and the queen, but also just straight up knight takes e4. The only way to defend that is with the move knight d6. And can you see White's brilliant next move? It's the incredible knight e6. Absolutely mind-bogglingly beautiful. The queen is trapped. Black loses the queen. The best thing to do here is pawn takes knight and just to lose to bishop g5 and bishop takes d8. But if Black decides to try to save the queen with knight d6, knight e6 with queen e8, then we go bishop g5 check. And now after the king goes to f7, knight takes c7 check. Check from the bishop. The queen is lost. What a beautiful, beautiful queen trap. Now, they don't have to do this. The Ponziani-Steinitz is not particularly common. So what if instead they try to play something else? Well, there is another much more common and much more well-known gambit. And after knight g5, it's bishop c5. This is the popular Traxler Gambit. And the reason it's so popular is because you better not go knight takes f7. Bad things can happen. Technically, White's just fine after knight takes f7, but bishop takes f2, and you have to go king f1, and it's awkward and weird. But if you go king takes f2 here, which is what you probably want to play, then knight takes c4 comes in. And after the king goes to g1, then the queen comes over to h4, threatening a mate. And maybe after g3, they'll go knight takes g3. You don't want to take it because then the queen comes in and there's going to be at least a perpetual check. So let's just say we go knight takes h8, the best move according to the computer. Then knight d4. And white is lucky that white can take the knight now and go into a perpetual check with the queen making sure and the knight making sure that the king can never escape the checks. And after a few checks, you'll realize it's going to be a repetition. So that's the dangerous point. And by the way, there are plenty of lines that white just loses in the Traxler Gambit too. But that's just one thing to keep in mind. Now, what happens if they play bishop c5? How do we win? Well, the way we win is with the beautiful move d4. And this is very, very strong. Now, black does have a good response here. And that's with the move d5. We'll take a look at that later. But the most common response is just bishop takes d4. And it's a big mistake. Because now we can actually go knight takes f7. It's kind of funny. But now when they go bishop takes f2, and we go king takes f2, and we're going to look at queen e7 in this line, but just so that you're aware, knight takes e4 now doesn't work, because now we can go back, they come in here, and we go g3, and they do that amazing sacrifice, but then we take their rook, and then they come in here and they block our escape square with the knight, and we take, and they bring the king over here, and now if we go queen f4, the bishop will take the queen, and the king is actually safe. Queen can't go here. It's blocked. So the whole point is of our d4 move is to open up our bishop so that queen f4 cannot come in, and there is absolutely no danger in the Traxler attack. So that's the idea. Okay, so what is black going to actually do? Well, black is probably going to still play the move bishop takes f2, and after king takes f2, play queen e7. And the idea is to go queen to c5 check. And the best move here is knight takes h8, queen c5, and bishop e3. And if black decides to go knight takes c4, here we play king f3. That's right. We're bringing the king up the board. We want to attack and win the knight. As crazy as that is. Now, of course, black can take our bishop and also defend their knight. But then we go knight a3. And you don't really want to play queen b4 to keep your eye on the knight because of c3 coming in and other stuff. So you're probably going to play queen to g8, trying to take our trapped knight. And yeah, we're absolutely going to do it. We're going king takes c4 here. Our king is in the middle of the board, and we are completely winning. We're just up material here. We're up by 6 points. Now, they'll take our knight, and material is only +1. What are we up? We're up a rook for 2 pawns, but our king's in the middle. It doesn't matter. We are the ones that are attacking black, and we can easily get a quick checkmate. I'll just show you this line here. Imagine knight b5. This is a very important move because now we're threatening to take on c7. The king will go to d8, and then we go bishop g5. And now probably black should just go knight e7, allow us to take, and then maybe we grab on c7 if we want to. But if they go king to e8, it's all over. Knight takes c7 check. And then queen f1, queen c4, queen takes d5, queen takes e6, and rook a to f1 checkmate. Wow. So absolutely a stunning checkmate with our king in the middle of the board. You might look at this position and say, is this a king of the hill battle? I mean, white just got his king to the middle. Is that how white won? No, we won a regular game of chess like this. That's why I just think it's beautiful. It's just a wonderful line in the Traxler Gambit. Now, what if we go back to the Traxler and we play d4 again, and they take, and we go take on f7, and they sacrifice, and they bring their queen out, and we take the rook, and they check us again, and we block with the bishop. What if they take with the queen and just kind of point out they can take on e4 later? Well, now we're not going to do that crazy king to the center stuff. We're going to play the move rook f1, and after knight takes c4, we're just going to go king back to g1. And now we are up a piece, but our knight is trapped. We are threatening to get it out right now, so black's best retry is knight f6. And here we play rook takes f6. It's a sacrifice, but ignore that for just a moment. After the pawn takes and the queen goes to h5, Pretend we didn't sacrifice anything. Look at the position. What's the difference? We have an extra knight for 2 pawns. That's the difference in this position. We also have an immediate attack on the black king. Is this a great position for us? Absolutely. So that's why we went into this. That's why we did the rook sacrifice. We got into this position, and here you should be able to win quite easily. My next move is probably going to be like knight to d2, depending on where the black king moves. If I have a knight f7 check coming in, I'll always do that. But I'll go knight d2, attacking the queen. I'll try to bring the rook over, probably bring the rook in, and we're going to get a quick checkmate. I'm sure of it. So I did tell you that there was one line in the Traxler that could respond to d4. And that's the ultra surprising move, d5. Now, if they play d5, we need to take it. We need to go bishop takes d5. And they've got 2 responses here. And we'll look at both lines. Knight takes d4 is one idea. And this can get a little bit dangerous here. We're going to play the move bishop takes f7 check. Again, you'll notice we're always taking on f7 with the bishop, because it's more important that we gain a tempo by attacking the king and winning a pawn than trying to win a lot of material, like winning a rook in the corner without gaining that time on the king. Black's already got 3 pieces out. If we go for a fork, they save their queen but move it somewhere a little bit aggressive, and then we take their rook, and then their queen comes in even further, or their knight or their bishop or something comes in. We lose really quickly because we're fighting essentially a queen, 2 knights, and a bishop with no defense available. So we want to make this check most of the time. And after the king goes to e7, then we will play bishop c4, because they were kind of threatening h6, and then our knight will be hanging, and that's defending the bishop. So we play bishop c4, and now they can actually play b5, hitting the bishop, and of course that's defended by their knight. And our best move is bishop d3, making sure our e-pawn is safe. And after h6, we simply go knight to f3. And we're doing great. We are just up a pawn. They'll play bishop g4. We'll have to go knight d2. And we might even have to play bishop e2 to make sure everything is really, really solid. But we will eventually get to a position where we are just up a pawn, and we should be able to win. Get your king castled, get your pieces developed, get unpinned, and you will win. Okay, so that's the Traxler. The most common way to respond to knight to g5 is the only logical way you would think. Oh wait, we got one other bishop c5 line. I forgot. There was 2. Remember, there was 2 lines with d5 and bishop takes d5. Let me not get ahead of myself there. Knight takes d5 is another line that you need to know, because the natural move, pawn takes knight, because like we're looking at d5, our eyes are glued on that square, and we see a capture on that square, so we want to play it, is actually not the best move. We should play pawn takes c5. And this is better because they can't take this pawn. And now they have to move their knight, and then we'll trade queens, which also forces their knight back, or forces their king to be uncastled, or to never get castled. They'll play knight to c3, so that our e4 pawn is defended once the h6 pawn kicks our knight out of the way. And we're doing just fine. We've got great development. We're up a pawn, and we've got good winning chances. We'll just finish development, we'll get castled, and we'll go for a quick attack while we're ahead in material. Okay, so that's one other important line. It's not so dangerous, but as long as you know that bishop takes pawn takes c5, then you should be good. Now, the most common way, as I was saying, to face against the Friedliver, the only natural looking way is d5, because this actually actively stops the threat on f7. It's the only way. If we're supposed to go pawn takes d5 here, and now they've got 4 responses, and we're going to look at all 4 of them. We're going to look at b5, knight d4, we're going to look at knight takes d5, and we're going to look at knight a5. The least common is b5. And this is actually kind of dangerous. We shouldn't really go bishop takes b5, because then after queen takes d5, they're kind of hitting this, they're kind of hitting this. We'll be forced to trade off our bishop. And yeah, we're up a pawn for now, but we're under pressure. They've got a great queen. You know, if we just like castle here or something, they go bishop b7, you know, it's not so fun. It's not so fun. In fact, the computer says that black is winning after the move f3, h6, and knight h3 because of g5 and g4. Your opponents would never play that, but it doesn't matter. This is not comfortable for white at all. All I'm going to say is don't go bishop takes b5 when they go pawn b5. Instead, play bishop back to f1. Because we want our bishop out of the way if our queen needs to come out. And then after they go knight takes d5, now they're threatening our knight. And because they've blocked their queen from coming to the middle, now we actually go bishop takes b5, which prevents them from taking our knight, because then we'll take their knight with a nice forky, and they will play bishop b7. We'll go d3, making sure our knight's defended. They'll attack our knight again. We'll just back up. We'll castle. And we've got a great game. We're ahead of pawn. Nothing to be afraid of here. You can't ask for anything more. White is much, much better. Now, there is another line that's also an aggressive line that some people have learned, which is knight d4. And this is predicated off the fact that if we go d6, queen takes d6, knight f7, looking like you've got a genius fork, here queen c4, and oh, the bishop, and I guess the pawn is being attacked. But hey, a rook is worth more than a bishop, right? Yeah, well, actually, you're going to take the pawn and just get checkmated. After queen e4, bishop wait, the king's not going to get checkmated. He's super safe here. Look at this. He's got all his pieces around him. Yeah, this is just really nice. And in fact, that's just checkmate. Yeah, so don't play this way, by the way. If you get into a situation where they play knight d4, just crush them. Just crush them. Go c3. Make the knight leave. It's annoying. Get out of here. And after the knight goes to f5, then just go d3. It's all chill. I can take back on d5 if they want to. And then we'll just go castles. And yeah, material is totally even. They'll go bishop e7, attacking our knight, and we'll play right back to f3. But they got a bit of a problem here. Their e5 pawn is a bit weak. Their d5 square is a bit weak. They'll probably play f6. Wait, why not bishop to e7? This seems to be better. Well, now rook e1, and you've got a big problem. This pawn is about to fall. I can just go queen d6, right? And then d4. Not good for black. So instead, they're probably going to play f6. And then, we'll just develop with rook e1. We'll finish our development, and white's got a great game. So that's my recommendation if they play knight to d4. And again, if you want to go through all of these lines, go check out my course on chess.com. It's totally free. Go look at all the lines, go through the quizzes, and make sure to avail yourself of all those resources so that you learn this and are able to play it in your next game. Okay, another line. And this is the most common way to play, actually, after d5, pawn takes d5, is knight a5. It's the best line, too. And for the next couple of lines that we're going to look at, black is going to be playing actually really well. Now, after bishop b5, bishop d7 is not the best, but it's okay. It's not the most common move, but this does challenge our bishop. And it's important to know that queen e2 is the best response. We are not only defending the bishop, but also threatening the pawn. So their best move is just to go bishop to d6, and we'll castle, and so will they. If in this position they go knight takes d4, their king's in the middle just a little bit too long, and d4 comes, and it's not so good. Even if they try to give us a check, we back up, and this is just a little bit too weak. So they're going to probably castle in this position, and now they are threatening knight takes d5. So we should go bishop takes d7, and after queen takes d7, knight f3, or knight c3, and we are good. We are up a pawn here. They'll probably play rook e8, and let's just play knight e4. Make sure that that pawn can't push too far into our territory, and we're doing really well. There might have been some annoying ideas of bishop e4 next. That way the queen and the knight were attacking d5. Let's trade off this knight, and we will be doing well. After knight takes c4, let's just go knight takes c4, and white's better. Now, this isn't the most common way to play. You should probably know already that if you go through this main line with d5 and pawn takes, knight a5, bishop e5 check, that c6 is the way that black normally plays. If you're playing against somebody who knows what they're doing, this is what you're going to face. You're going to go pawn takes, and after pawn takes, there's a lot of ways white can go. My recommendation is bishop d3. And the reason for this is because it's going to hold the e4 square for us if we ever want to play knight to e4. Now, a common move is h6, and this isn't actually so great for black. We're going to go knight e4, and then maybe a trade will occur, And suddenly, we're just doing well. I mean, we got a great bishop in the center of the board. If they go bishop c5, let's just remember one critical move here. d3. And after castles, we castle, and we're all doing just fine. Why is that d3 move important? Well, if we castle, some things might get a little weird, a little annoying after f5. This is actually good for us because we have queen h5 check, and then bishop takes c5, but we got to be at least a little bit careful of this idea eventually, like maybe if black castles first, because then, if we eventually get into something like this, black's going to have an edge. So it's maybe not a threat right away, but it is an idea that you need to be aware of. So I like to go d3. That way, if that f5 ever comes again later on down the road, our bishop is just fine. So anyway, that's one idea. Probably the very, very best way that black can play against the fried liver, if they know what they're doing, if they are just as well prepared as you, and they go d5 and c6 and takes, is they'll play knight d5. And this, of course, is threatening our knight. So we'll play h4. You were thinking I was going to go knight f3. No, this is the aggressive Italian, not the pansy Italian. We're going to go h4. And, well, they'll go knight to f4. Threatening our bishop and our pawn. And we'll play the supernatural move bishop f1. It defends both things, right? Yeah, I'm sure you weren't thinking about that, but this is actually a really good move because after they go h6 and we go knight f3 and they go e4, we go d3 and we're just fine. Here we're threatening their knight, and if they take our knight, we take their knight. They take, we take, and we just got like the Jacobson's bishops. Is that what they're called? Is this a Jacobson bishop situation? Somebody correct me in the comments, because I don't know. When two bishops are lined up like this, I don't know if it's always a Jacobson's bishop's position. Do apologize to Jacobson for not knowing his bishops very well. But you've got a great position, obviously. You don't have to castle kingside. You can move your knight and queen, get that out of there and get castled, right? So most of the time after we play d3, they'll just take on d3, yeah, with the knight, because they're threatening our knight still. And we'll just take with the bishop, let them choose a piece, and that's just a bunch of fancy trades, leaving us again with a situation where we are ahead by a pawn. This is probably the least best situation for us, just because this is kind of an isolated pawn. It's kind of an evenish game other than that. So, yeah, we're up a pawn, which I think is great, which is why, again, I'm recommending this line, why I'm recommending the fried liver, because I think it's great. It leaves us with lots of good positions, but this is the best black can do. And, we've still got a long game, but we're ahead a pawn. You can't ask for more than that out of an opening against a good player. Now, there is another way the game can go, and this one is fun. They can go after pawn takes d5. You've probably been wondering, why would they, play b5 or knight d4, knight a5? I mean, guys, hello, there's a free pawn. It's because it's a mistake. And that's because white has knight takes f7. Beautiful and amazing. The king will take on f7, and then we'll go queen f3. And this is the idea. We're forking the king and this knight. Now, black's best move is king to e6, which I'll show you in a second. But after king e8, we can take back. And actually, we're ahead of pawn now. And the most common move for black to play in this position, played 2 million times or more on Just.com alone, is knight d4. Yeah, that's the most common move in this position, is knight d4. What you're most likely to see is this move, allowing queen f7 mate. Beautiful. But yeah, so the fried liver could get you a nice checkmate in 9 if you know this line. Make sure you know that knight sacrifice is huge. It's been literally played, or this checkmate's been played millions of times. All right, finally, what if they go for this knight takes d5? All right, pawn takes, knight takes. What if they go for it? And then they actually play king e6. I mean, we saw white go king e4 on move 12 and win the game. Well, black can get away with this, but after knight to... Ew, my nose is itchy. After knight to c3, they'll go knight b4. Which knight to b4? Oh, yeah, there's only one knight that can go to b4, obviously. They'll go knight b4, and then we'll castle. Of course, don't go taking on c2, because then we'll be able to take on d5. You'll notice it's currently defended 3 times, and it's attacked 3 times. So black is safe for now. Black will add another attacker with c6, but then white goes d4. Why? Because we're aggressive, and we want to attack, and we're going to open up lines around the king. Don't be afraid to sacrifice. My nose. Don't be afraid to sacrifice. it's going to give you great chances to attack the king and win. Queen f6. Black realizes at this point that actually black's ahead material and black's king is very unsafe, so let's trade, right? Well, no, let's not trade. Let's go queen d1. Not afraid to retreat. The idea is to keep the queen on the knight here and also protect the c2 square. After pawn takes on d4, it looks like black is just completely winning. We are now in a situation where literally we're just down a free knight. This looks bad. But after knight e4, they'll go queen g6, hitting our knight. Well, I guess not really because we have rook e1, but whatever. We're going to play a3, and then queen takes d4, and we're completely winning here. Probably they'll go knight c7, making sure everything is nice and safe. That is a good move according to the computer. And then we'll play bishop d3, and suddenly black is in humongous trouble. Trust me, there's a lot of other lines that black can play. You can look them up on your own. Black is in big trouble here, even from before knight to c7. Bishop d3. Most natural move here, trying to get your queen out of the way, is queen e8 because pretty much any other move gets you forked. You can't go here or here because of the bishop. You can't go to f7 because of this fork. You obviously can't go to here. You can't go to here because of a discovery. You can't stay where you are because of this knight discovery, right? Queen to h5 as well. It's just not going to work. This looks like another natural move, but c4 comes in. We won't go down that line. Let's just look at queen e8. And here we're going to play knight g5 with a check. The king will be forced to move to d7 to avoid losing a queen potentially. And then c4 comes. We pick up the piece. Black's king is in the center of the board. This is an attacking player's dream. I don't care if the material is even out of the opening. We are much better because we are attacking. That's what we love. This is the Aggressive Italian Game, Part 2, Fried Liver. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, remember, go over to chess.com. I got the link down below so you can review each line, so that you can quiz yourself on each line, see all the lines together in the tree, and you can also review my video, again, if you want some extra help. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and if you do, make sure to leave a like, give me a comment, tell me about any lines I potentially missed or any other cool checkmate material winning ideas that you know. I'd love to learn more about this opening myself. But hopefully this helped you guys, and I will see you again for part 3 and the final part. What happens when your opponent plays really passively and defensively, trying to avoid all this craziness? I'll show you how to beat that soon.